everyone, it's Sarah from the Support Worker Store, and today I have got Aaron and Amy from Marco Polo. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today because you guys are doing some really cool shit in the sector, and I can't wait to talk about it with you guys. So can you tell us a little bit about both of you and how we got to Marco Polo?
Yeah, okay. About a bit about us. Look, I started my, professional career as a pharmacist. So I worked as a pharmacist for about 8 years. I still technically am one. I still have to do registered hours every couple of years. I have to do a couple of weeks every year to remain a pharmacist. But basically, yeah, through health, we kind of deviated, I guess, a little bit into the disability sector when Amy started her degree in social work. Yeah, and then through the social work, we saw the disability sector in all its glory, especially the housing markets. When Amy did placement through that, isn't that right? Oh, we won't say who you did placement through anyway. But basically saw that housing should be so much better, and we basically went, all right, like every person that gets into the disability space, I can do it better. It'll be amazing if I do it. And we, got to that real reality. So we went through Acorn Homes, our SIL provision, learned a hell of a lot through that. But the one thing that was kind of different, I guess, in the way that we did SIL is that we would always try and match people first before we put them into homes. So it was very much about making sure that the people got along first. We made our mistakes for sure. Anyone that watches this and goes, you didn't always do that. It's like, no, we didn't always do that. We definitely made some mistakes. But when we worked out that that's the best way to do things, we're like, cool, let's do this. And it worked really well. And then basically this is the digital scale up of the way we were doing SIL because no one else seemed to be doing it this way.
Yeah, you've got a lot there for me to unpack right now. and I am really nosy. I am incredibly nosy. So can I deep a little bit further? So I know you were talking about studying and being a pharmacist, but was there a moment that you just kind of like the penny dropped and you clicked and you thought, you know what? I wouldn't mind working in the disability sector.
It's an interesting question, I think, because I think our background in care started very early on. So we're both healthcare professionals. So Aaron's a pharmacist, I'm a nurse and a social worker. I think this was always a path we would have gone down. Do I think we would, do SIL differently? Like if we had it all over again? Yes, I do. I don't think we probably would have started in a platform type industry to begin with because we had more impact. I think we're always going to head down a path of care. We have a history in the foster care space as well. We're foster carers. We were doing that in South Australia. We do that now in New South Wales. We've done lots of things for the community as well. So disability came very naturally for us. And when we did start in the space as registered providers back in 2020, just kind of fit really well with our personal values and our ethos on life. And then Marco Polo kind of was born, from that as well. It's just this mass production of trying to do what the industry should have been doing, 11 years ago when the NDIS started.
Yeah, I don't think it was one defining moment. It was definitely a conversation we had with someone, like a friend of ours was a plan manager. We're talking about housing investment and stuff like that. And then everyone, I think, hears about SDA and all that thing. We won't talk about the Four Corners episode coming out tonight. But we didn't get into SDA stuff. We're just we'll look at SIL because we're looking at multi-occupancy residence for people without disability. So we're actually looking at doing it for the homeless population. So the highest proportion of homeless people is actually women over the age of 55. Yeah. And we had no idea until we kind of had a chat to people and went, okay, let's do this. And then spoke to friends, that worked in disability and went, okay, maybe SIL is something we could go down instead. And we're like, we'll give it a go, see what happens. And we're here 5-6 years later. Basically, we haven't left.
So if I could peel this back even a little bit further, how did you two meet?
So Aaron and I are married. We've been together for 10 years.
Thank you.
Yeah, a whole nother challenge, marriage and startup world and company.
So things don't work out with Marco Polo. Yeah. We could at least write a book on what a stable marriage looks like. We've been tested many ways.
But we met actually out west. We met in Broken Hill on universal placement.
Yep. So, because is it right? You were a nurse and a pharmacist?
No, actually, so part of placement in Broken Hill is they have like student villages. So
Yeah.
they'll get people doing like nursing, OT, pharmacy, medicine, all that sort of stuff. And
Yeah, amazing.
you kind of just stay in this like little demountable village. It's quite interesting actually, because the way that they set the demountables up, you have 4 bedrooms and then like a bathroom between 2 bedrooms and a big main living area.
Yeah. But Aaron was in like the pharmacy and I was in like the nursing and medicine unit. So we were like next to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically next door neighbors and came over, met each other, did everything that you do as a student,
Yeah.
go out and you work and do your placement all day, party a little bit at night.
I mean,
Yeah.
Broken Hill has a pub on every corner. So the nightlife was, fantastic.
You wouldn't think Broken Hill would be the place where you party, but there's pubs everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's basically how we met.
So,
No worries.
what strengths do each of you bring into the partnership to be able to work together?
Look, I think if it wasn't for myself, we never would have started anything. Amy struggles to make that that first decision to be like, let's go and do something. Whereas I kind of don't have that risk mentality, I guess. I kind of go, this is a great idea. Let's just try it and see what happens. And I'll get something to about 50% of what it needs to be, sometimes a little bit less. I can thank my ADHD for that. But Amy's usually the one that comes as like the voice of reason and logic and goes, okay, we need to clean up what Aaron started.
Yeah.
And then she turns it into something that's beautiful. So
Yeah.
I started, Amy kind of finishes it, and it seems to work.
Kind of runs it along the way. I think we're like chalk and cheese. Like the skill sets that we have are so polar opposite that they work so well together. Because if we were very similar in skill and knowledge set, it would just be like the same person doing the same thing at the same time, at the same speed, whereas we're complete opposite and it works so well, especially in, I think, running a startup together, trying to scale. It's like Aaron has really specific skills in one area and then I have no skills in that area. And then I have really good skills in a completely different aspect. And he's like, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. Like,
Absolutely.
please don't give that to me ever.
No way.
Is it hard to be at work during the day, working on Marco Polo, and then at home at night to have dinner? Because I don't think I could work with my partner.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I think even like during COVID when people were in lockdown, they couldn't go to work or they were working from home. We were the opposite. Like we had to go to work. We were healthcare professionals throughout COVID and obviously working on our other business as well. And then when we stopped doing that and we were just working at home now, full time, we're around each other 24 hours of the day. The statistics were not in our favor. Like COVID seen mass divorce rates because people were stuck at home with their loved ones. I don't know, like I think the chalk and cheese skill set and the knowledge and where we, triumph in things has really helped us along the way. And I think that's what has kind of kept us sane and together. Yeah.
We're pretty good communicators, I think. That's probably one of the best things. Like, we're very quick to be like, that thing that you're doing really annoys me. Like, how can we change that? And we're both open to the criticisms, right? So it's like, it just goes, okay, well, I need you to keep this business running, so I better keep you happy at the same time.
When he came to you with the business idea, were you like, I don't know, I'm not quite sure? Like, how did you do you guys work together with such a big vision? Because to be honest, for other people to come up with Marco Polo would have taken a very long time to see that vision, to grow it and to nurture it.
Yeah.
How do you nurture and see this vision through when it's so left to field for many people?
Yeah, it's a really good question, actually. I mean, this isn't the first business idea. It definitely wouldn't be the last with Aaron's brain. Yeah, good question. Honestly, we actually reflected on this not long ago. Marco Polo didn't exist, 2 years ago. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't a concept. It wasn't, a design on a piece of paper. So in 2 years, and I think it's just like the blind leading the blind. Like we're like, let's build a SaaS platform that any person with a disability under the NDIS can use. Like, yeah, they're like so easy. Like, you'll just get some devs and like get some agentic AI and it'll be like so easy and quick. Well, we were very wrong, but it was like, you know what, we've come this far. We're not turning back now and no one else is going to build it. So let's just keep going. And I don't know, I guess it's grit mentality that only certain type of person and certain, amounts of people that can just go through like absolute destruction when it comes to growing a business and be like, yeah, I'm just going to get up tomorrow morning, do it all again and just face it
Yep.
head on. Couldn't imagine doing life any differently. Before I met Aaron, I was nursing. I was, just going along that normal life of shift work basically. And then, yeah, bang, met Aaron.
Yep.
I don't know, I'm a pretty big believer in like the universe provides what you need and you're always on the path you're supposed to be on and you make some like corrections to
Yep.
get on the right path. I definitely think we're where we're meant to be. Yeah.
100%. Yep. You're definitely where you're meant to be. And especially it's not something that's been done. And I don't know, you guys, and as a founder, I do love challenging the line, challenging what it could be and the possibilities and that type of stuff. I don't know about you, but it excites me a little. Like the idea of, well, just because it hasn't been done doesn't mean it shouldn't.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah. We always talk about Marco Polo to people. We go, we're the platform that should have existed 10 years ago. Like we've had, flatmates.com, right, as a thing that's for non-disabled people, non-neurodivergents. People can find housemates that can connect with other people, but there was never anything for the disability sector.
Yep.
It was always kind of left up to providers and whoever else, other people, other than the people that are actually meant to be making the decision,
Yep.
to be making decisions on the behalf of other people. And we're like, when we went through SIL and like through Acorn Homes and when our matches are actually so much better when we just get out of the way.
Yeah.
When we got out of the way, let people just match with whoever they want to. Like one of the best matches we ever had through Acorn, this is well before Marco Polo, was two people that we honestly had no inkling that they would match together. So young guy, he was 25 years old, and a woman who was 65, early onset dementia.
Yep.
And we're like, no way. No traditional matching method would be like, this older woman and this younger guy will definitely get along. Completely different interests, nothing. And basically what had happened was things that we didn't consider is that he loved his grandparents, his grandmother in particular, and she loved her grandchildren.
Yep.
And the thing is that they kind of developed that pseudo relationship. And it was one of the best matches we ever had. It was so beautiful to see because they just had this special connection. But if we had made the decision around that, that connection never would have happened.
100%, because you could put it all in line what you think somebody likes and the type of support they want and to get their support worker right. I know, look, I say in a past life I was a matchmaker. Like and the reason why I say that is because you get to a point where you can become really good at it. And a lot of it is that listening, and then from listening, matching and seeing what works and a bit of trial and error, kind of like dating. Like, you go on a couple of dates and there's no guarantees. You got to kiss a couple of frogs, it happens.
Exactly.
So in a simple word, how would you describe Marco Polo?
Look, we describe it as, so it's NDIS housemate matching, right? But we think of it as flatmates.com meets eHarmony or Tinder, whatever your age demographic is, but designed for the NDIS.
Yeah. Yep.
Or like Tinder for house.
Tinder for housemates.
Yep, because we shouldn't just allow Tinder Tinder should be open for all, in that sense that we should have an opportunity to scroll through and be disappointed or really enjoy the idea of matching with this person. I get that excitement that it could have around that. Like when I talk about software and creating it, the idea of that you'd have your family or your friend and you swipe through and you talk about, oh, could this person here, do you think they could be a perfect match because they go for Geelong and I go for Geelong and we could go for Geelong together. Like I get that. That part must be really exciting to see people be able to choose in real time or have that thrill sex.
Yeah,
it's something that should have existed a long time ago, as we've mentioned. But yeah, there's that opportunity now through Marco Polo for people that do live with a disability to have that choice and that total control over who they get to pick and who they get to speak with. And then they might go off and then live together. Ultimate goal, but
and that's what like finding a housemate. So you think about like when you first moved out of home, when I first moved out of home, it was exciting. Like it was meant to be exciting. It's like, this is your first time being independent, finally out of like mum and dad's rule of the house. Like I get to do whatever I want to do.
Yep.
And it was never our goal to empower people. We don't like using the word empower. It implies that we're giving it to people. What we want to do with Marco Polo is create a tool. And we know that people have the ability themselves to do it. They just need the tools in order for them to be enabled.
And the tools have to exist to be able to be used.
Yeah. You
It-
can't, screw it through without a screwdriver. Like, yeah.
It's pretty much just leveling the field so everyone can have an ordinary life. And that's because if you look at an ordinary life, we all go through these types of tools to be able to find somebody to match with, to have a connection with. And doesn't make it any different, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I remember when I moved out, like it was never, I need to find a house first. It's like, who's going to live with me
Yeah.
because I can't afford to pay the rent by myself. Like that was always an important first step. And in the disability space, we've somehow just decided that step doesn't exist or isn't important. And yeah, so it's basically us, leveling the playing field and making it more, allowing people to have that normal life cycle, those normal life stages. Move out with friends. If that doesn't work out, you can go move in with a partner, whatever that looks like. But with the added layer of disability and NDIS, it just makes it more complicated. So you need a more complex tool to make it work.
Yeah, 100%. Is that why you picked the name Marco Polo for software? Like, how did you come with Marco Polo? Because I actually got schooled a while back when it came to Marco Polo, to be honest. And it turns out that my history is pretty darn bad. And the reason, like, behind the name Marco Polo. So I'd love to hear your phrase without embarrassing myself and my lack of history.
Look, it kind of, the original concept around Marco Polo was the pool game, right? So playing, like growing up, I grew up in Darwin. So like it was a game that we played all the time in the pool. So it was like your eyes are closed, you're calling out for someone to respond back to you. And it's searching through the darkness to find the person you're meant to find. So it kind of came around that. And then it kind of morphed into this idea around like exploring and finding your own path and blazing a trail. Like, so it's kind of got that double meaning, but it really came from that pool game to start with.
Yeah. Marco Polo is like seeking and finding.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I found out the sides, because I'd play the pool game as well, but when I was a kid, but like I didn't realize the depth of Marco Polo itself, like being like an adventurer and finding and all that stuff. Like I actually, to be fair, I got schooled by a 20-year-old about this, so I'm a little bit embarrassed. What problems were you like? You talk about trying to solve problems for people with disabilities and the best way to like find a housemate. And so, hold on. I know briefly before you talked about how you were able to match somebody that was in their 20s with a lady in her 60s. Have you got any other examples of, when you saw a participant win real well because of matching from Marco Polo?
Yeah. So we had a female participant who had been looking for a housemate for about 8 months.
Yep.
And they had a still home, there was a provider involved, and they wanted a particular housemate, and so they should have a choice in that. And they were able to find a person that they could chat to, meet up with before there was anything signed, before the provider got fully involved in the service agreement, meet up and have lunch multiple times
Before
meet the family, meet the stakeholders, and then move in. And they're still going strong, like over 12 months later. And they're the type of, sometimes those relationships need a lot of support. So Marco Polo has the option for like family members and carers and guardians to sign up on that participant's behalf. And then coordinators also have the option to sign up and add as many users that they have, like participant-wise, that they support, that are looking for a housemate, regardless of funding. And I think that's the big thing is when we look at the space in the NDIS and we look at like core funding, you've got, ILO and SIL, and then you've got just daily living funding, like drop-in support. But the cost and the range of that funding is extreme. Like you could have a participant with just core daily living and a participant with SIL that have the same amount of funding and over that year. And it's just insane how that happens. But it does. The platform's really cool because it doesn't discriminate on funding type. It just uses funding thresholds. So you're getting every type of person in your location that you
Yeah.
choose that's meeting a funding threshold, not a funding type. And providers are loving it because they're not they're not advertising a home that's like, this is just for SIL participants. Like, you're literally missing out on participants that just want somewhere to live and support and they have the same amount of funding. Like, you can use that flexibly.
Yeah, we've had even through Acorn, we've had people with 1 to 3 that
Yeah.
have got enough for 1 to 1. That's like it's amazing the stark differences you see in the NDIS and the way they fund things.
Yeah.
If you've got 1 to 3, but you could afford 1 to 2 or 1 to 1, wouldn't you want a higher level of support with the funding that you've got? So we work on that basis. But yeah, going back to the story, I think is we've seen those participants thrive. Honestly, we had one lady because she was already in the home. She went from a place where she couldn't cook, she wasn't allowed to buy her own groceries, all of this sort of stuff, like pure institutional living.
Yep.
She was the provider. And then we had the second participant who was on Marco Polo. They got chatting.
Yeah.
They bond over like craft and cooking and baking. And honestly, like I have not seen a more decorated house ever. Like my house does not look that decorated. There's like artworks and like
Yeah.
bejeweled thing. I don't know what to call them, like the
Diamond art.
like everywhere. And it was just amazing. It was such a good match between the participants,
Yeah.
but a good match to the provider as well. They're just doing things the right way. And we want to reward the providers that are doing things like that. We know that there's an extra layer of difficulty to do that as a provider, but if you do it, if you make things an actual home, things work out better and placements last longer and you don't have churn and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, we really make sure that the providers that are doing the right thing, we look after them as well.
Yeah, that type of story, it's the real reason why you do it, yeah? Like
Yeah,
yeah, like
exactly.
why you wake up in the morning to do something like that, because it really does feel good and it has a lasting impact, and it's like even though like you're running the software, but because you can see that and you can feel that, that's exciting. Like, yeah, no, I just get goosebumps with the idea of it because so I'm Melbourne based, right? And with where I'm based, there are a lot of SILs. Like there's a lot of SIL providers out there looking for people to match with. And when you do come across a SIL that does go that extra mile, like you said, like all the jewels and the arts and crafts, and it turns it into a home, that's something really special.
It is, yeah.
It is. And I think we get stuck in this trap of like, as a SIL provider, like being SIL providers ourselves, you get stuck in this trap of like, what's compliant, right? Because you're like, oh, it's a
Yeah.
workplace, we have all this responsibility and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, it is still someone's home.
Yeah.
And
It's firstly, it's someone's home.
right. So the least amount of influence you can have over their home with while still making it safe and compliant, that's what you should be aiming for.
Yeah. 100%. Like it, yeah, that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that story. I love that. I bet you'd have 100 more of them, but it does make the difference, doesn't it? It's quality of
It does.
life. And I look at it this like sometimes I have with my every now and again I do have a deep thought, and I always think to myself when I'm older and I can no longer provide myself, to live independently as possible. You always wonder about how life will look when you go through that next stage, and not being as independent as I'd love to be when I'm older, but you sort of think, gosh, I hope things like this exist. Like, are you building this for you guys in retirement? Because like, I just need to know whether I have to bank on you guys from, what was it, maybe 20, 30 years from now.
I mean, we look to expand into the aged care space. We've spoken to some of the, the higher ups in aged care, but we've seen a massive need in the disability space.
Yeah.
We wanted to start there, and it's quite, it's a passionate point for us as well. It's a real purpose driver for us. But there's so many things we could be doing and iterations we could be making in different spaces.
Yeah.
Again, so we know that, the foster sector or the child safety sector is also inundated by kids that need care. Like, we've literally come up with an app for them, and we were like, we need to just put it on a whiteboard and save it for later and solve one problem at a time. But I mean, someone had to do something. Someone has to start building something. Otherwise, this is how great things happen and big corporations start, is by someone just thinking about an idea and it coming to life. So
Yeah.
if we can expand into aged and child safety, that's great too. Yeah.
My motivations are a little bit more selfish, I think. Look, I kind of discovered through providing services that like I'm neurodivergent myself, right? Didn't really know about it, and then
Yeah.
kind of got exposed more to the space, and then it just kind of like dawned on me. Like we're working on Marco Polo already, but it kind of dawned on me. I'm like, if I had a more profound disability,
Yeah.
would all my rights about who I get to live with be taken away from me?
Mm.
And where you get to live.
Where I get to live, who I get to live with. Like the fact that we spend 24 hours a day with each other, I wouldn't be able to do that in most cases, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't get to do that. And it's just not fair. Like
Yeah.
it's just, it didn't make sense on just such a logical, ethical, like human rights type level. And it just I just said, look, someone needs to do something because we can't keep treating things like it's a property and a bed that
Yeah.
needs a bum in it. And I've heard people say it like that, and it just gives me the shits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
we
such
with
an ick, isn't it? Yeah.
it's
And they wonder why
horrendous.
it turns over so quickly.
Oh, I've seen people go to SDA conferences and go, guys, I've come up with this revolutionary thing. Oh, people matter. And you're like, what? Like,
It's a new concept.
it's a new concept that people matter. And it's just
Oh,
like, cool.
yeah, I'm shaking my head because I've heard it too. And you're like, well, what do you mean? They weren't at the front of the anywho, you're like, oh, all right, you've got a long way to go, my friend. And I'm not the one to I'm not it to educate you on that one. But time will get to you. When you create and you developed Marco Polo, and as somebody that's creating and building at the moment, one of the things that I've always found very interesting is that people will say things to you like, as you're building, that's a really great idea. What an excellent idea to make money. And I find myself having this moment where it's like this educational moment because you didn't build it to make money, you build it to solve a problem, and then everything that you created from solving a problem is what makes it worth it at every step. Have you heard something similar when it comes to Marco Polo? Because I dare say there'd be other people looking at Marco Polo wanting to create what you've created or buy into it at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm a big believer in the fact that you're always rewarded by the difficulty of the problem that you're solving. And it's proportionate. And sometimes be completely disproportionate depending on urgency and a number of other things, right? So if you look at it from that commercial kind of aspect, we've always wanted to do business in a way that it's business for good, right? We could never do like back in pharmacy days, I'm like, yeah, cool. I want to buy into pharmacy, and I wanted this conglomerate of pharmacies. And it was a really big mindset shift when I moved into the disability space, and it kind of just really humbled me because I'm
Yeah.
like, if you're a pharmacist with pharmacies, you're no different to anyone else. You're not really solving about like problems. It's supply and demand, right? So we got to a point where it's like we have to do things that are right, that are good, and you're solving difficult problems.
Yeah.
And there will be reward at the end of the tunnel for it. Like, but at the end of the day, I could never just make profit. It's hollow. It's a victory, but it's a hollow victory.
Yeah.
There's no legacy, there's no impact.
Mm.
Like what's the real point?
Yeah.
You can't be buried in money.
Yeah.
Like it's just fact of life.
Yeah.
Maybe for a generation or two, people remember the fact that you gave a shit about them
Yeah.
and that you tried to make a difference.
I think too, like when you're building something that is new and innovative and people want it and you're getting validated every time you speak to someone about it, you have bills to pay, you have a life to live, like making money. Like if any business, even not for profits, they have to make money.
Yeah.
They cannot be negative. We're seeing heaps of providers now in the NDIS space going into liquidation and going bankrupt, closing their doors, and
Yeah.
in South Australia being bailed out by the state government.
Yeah.
If you're doing something, people are like, I will throw money at you just to help you get this off the ground and so
Yeah.
I can use this. It's like, you're not going to say no because there's a demand for it and
Yeah.
people are willing to pay for it. That's massive validation for your product
Yeah.
in an area that needs a lot of innovation and a lot of freedom. Yeah, I mean, creating a SaaS platform is so expensive because developers are so expensive. I don't know, healthcare professionals, not not software engineers. So, most of our money goes to our developers, not us. So
And from this experience, have you had to learn how to code? Like, have you had to learn skill that you never thought in a million years that you would learn? Because I don't know about you, but I've learned shit that I never saw coming.
it's actually really, it's quite reflective when you start doing something that's totally out of your comfort zone. You didn't study that at uni, coding and development and product management. Like I do all the product management for Marco Polo, so I meet with my developers every single day. I have learned like words and systems and flows and like just absolute tech nonsense. I was like, how do I know all this like 6 months on? I'm like, what is this person like
Yeah,
talking about?
because I was
And
really
now
good
I
at
have to,
blood pressure at one point, and now I'm doing automations. Like, it's insane.
yeah. And the cool thing with technology is it is evolving so fast thanks to AI. Like at one point, well, now you can vibe code. Like you can just tell AI you want it to build and it's there.
Yeah.
Like,
Comes with its own issues, of
of
course,
course,
but like
might hallucinate a little bit.
yeah, might not build things like to proper standards and specs and all
Probably
that
not
sort of
very
stuff.
secure.
It's come a long way, and I think like people focus on tech and then go, yeah, it's tech and code and all that sort of stuff, but all of the other skills that come with like SaaS and that sort of stuff as well, like they say that with the SaaS platform, everyone expects to build a platform and then people will just subscribe and it'll all just be amazing. Yeah, cool. Like I'll just set up my website, I'll run some ads, and it'll all just be amazing.
Yeah.
But people miss the nuances of building a community first. You still need to build a community around your SaaS platform, because if you don't have those people and you don't have that feedback and all that sort of stuff, things just don't really progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the other skills around marketing and content creation and filming and editing and all these sorts of things, networking, lots of skills we've had to develop.
I think tech's probably the easy part. It's everything else that you have to do as a co-founder to just get your brand and your product out there. You're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. The platform's the easiest part to build. It's networking and, showing people that it can actually save a lot of time and heartbreak to use this platform instead of, you know, having a Facebook post saying, I've got a seal house, I've got two participants looking for another participant who likes blah blah blah. And yeah, it's hard. It's not as human. I don't know. It feels like something's missing from it. I'm sorry, I'm so off topic, and I know this is not in the questions, but because the word you guys touched on it, AI, is there some sort of AI element in Marco Polo, or is there for the future to use AI at some point? Because everyone loves that AI word and they find it really sexy.
Yeah. See, we use AI, so our developers use AI to help them QA test and code and make sure it's all kind of buzzing along well. There's lots of automations that are built into the platform, so it's alerting them if something's not going the way it's supposed to be going. That's kind of like back end tech stuff. That's the boring stuff. Marco Polo will iterate into having more AI support on the actual platform for people, but for now, while we're still at a nice user base that's easier to manage, it's more about being able to be more humanistic and being able to create a connection with people.
I think people rush for AI as
Yeah.
well. Like there's times where AI is really not needed.
Yeah.
And the thing is we're testing the platform, making it like run smoothly. But if there's ways that AI can actually help with accessibility or help
Yep.
with like onboarding and all that sort of stuff, we'll ask the users first. And it's like, is this something that would be of use to you? Then
Yeah.
we'll incorporate. People would tend to go, I'm just going to chuck AI in there because it'll make my business way more sexy for investors and all that sort of stuff. And you're like, yes, I get where you're coming from, but it needs to be useful as well.
Yeah.
So there are iterations where we want to incorporate like very heavy, like I guess matching type algorithms around behavior support so you can get really complex matches to have a better chance of working. Looking at behavior, looking at whole of person, and it's really hard to have someone that can look at whole of person without it being a human being doing that. So, behavior practitioners and things do. But if we can build in AI, learn from behavior practitioners, learn from really high quality matches around what makes an amazing match, yeah, there'll be an element of AI that can make things a lot better. and a lot more streamlined for people as well. So something's coming. We haven't quite ironed it all out, but it will be in next day.
Yeah, when and how it's needed, like depending on what our users are actually asking, like what they want AI for, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
You guys touched on this. You talked about feedback and how it shaped Marco Polo to where it is today. How did you collect the feedback? Because you've got a variety of people that use your platform.
Yes.
Yeah, so we get heaps of feedback from expos that we attend. And if we're not hosting a booth, we're actually just there chatting to people about us and the platform. And then the website itself will collect like feedback as well. And then every time someone signs up, you'll get an email from me that's asking you for feedback as well.
Yeah.
It's just trying to get every kind of communication point to get and gather feedback as often as possible. One of the big features that we're launching next month is feedback we've received from a lot of providers on the platform to list vacancies, but have it listed the Marco Polo way. So it's participant centric. It's nothing to do with the home. It's literally just about the people in that space. People will like the funniest ways they will contact us. They will give us as much feedback as they can. And I think every time we do talk to the cohorts that we have, whether it's a coordinator or a participant, even allied health professionals and plan managers, providers, they're all like, there's so much validation. And then we're always like, yeah, like love the love, but like what's wrong with it? Like tell us what you don't like about it, please. Because you telling us that you love it is not helping. Like we want to know what you don't like about it and what you want to see that's different. So we're actually attending a big event on Wednesday in Sydney, and we're testing the whole flow with 24 participants.
Yeah.
So we try to attend, and this is where it comes back to networking too. It's like, who can I get to give me access to more people to test with and more people to give me feedback?
And it's hard too, because I think the disability community in general have been asked for so long to share their voices, share their stories.
Yeah.
Like we've got Royal Commission reports, we've got reviews and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And people are so sick of telling their story and nothing happening.
Yeah. They just like constantly repeating themselves as like report after report and plan after plan. And they're like, no one's done anything. Like we're still doing the same thing. We're still beating the same dead horse. Like nothing happens. So yeah, the frustration is through the roof for the disability population, whether you live with a disability or a family member or a provider or a coordinator, an advocate, whoever. It's like we're screaming at you, NDIA, and you're just not listening to us.
Yeah.
We're literally building this. We're not building this platform for us. We're building it for the users that we support. So if we build this whole thing without feedback, it would be an absolute turd.
No one would use it. So it's like, and that's something that, it's doing
big purple turd.
Yeah, exactly. It's just not, if we can build it in the way we want it, right? But it's just not going to serve the people that it's designed for.
Yeah.
So it's like feedback, whilst it is, honestly, guys, if you want to provide us some feedback after watching the episode of this thing, please do, because we need, like, the more we get, the better. And if you don't like one little thing, if you don't like the color, if it's not accessible enough, please just let us know, because we will change things. We absolutely change things based on feedback.
Yeah.
What's the best feedback you've received? You're like, oh my God, that is the best idea. We're going to do that right now. Amy, let's get to the computer.
There's so many. We literally have a Notion board called Shiny Objects. And every time we like hear something or someone tells us something or we think we're like, there's just so many things that we've been told, like, that's so brilliant. One of our informal mentors, he made this suggestion and we were like, oh my goodness, like, why have we not thought of this? And he used to work at the NDIS. So we were like,
but it's always like, you love, and it is the shiny objects, the ones that are like completely game changing things. You're like, can we do this? You're like, no, it's going to be 12 months of development. You're like, oh my God.
Yes, just not right now.
It's coming, please.
And how much money do you have to build this thing?
Yeah, like we're looking for ways to iterate and change it for what the community needs.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's really fast. It's about prioritization. It's just like, what can we change right now with the most, like the cheapest way we can do it whilst we're still building up this user base so that we can give the most impact, but also generate enough revenue so that we can continue to develop and change things.
You said something that I haven't seen and I've never heard from you guys before. You use that word, mental. So how did you find your one? You don't have to tell me who it is, but how did you find your person to go to receive mentorship?
We have a bunch of mentors, and it really does just come down to networking.
It's all networking.
And it's funny because in a less enlightened time, I thought I had to do everything myself.
Yeah.
When I finally got connected with people from like UQ, we went through an accelerator through them, and we really just learned that the power of networks and mentors and things like that. And most people are willing to give a little bit of their time, even like informally, because people genuinely are helpful.
Yeah, and people genuinely want to see you succeed.
And it's just like, again, same as dating, kissing a few frogs and going, oh, maybe that person wasn't great to mentor us. But it's having the confidence to reach out to people. And if they say no, they say no. But if you've got something that you truly believe is a great idea and you know that it's solving a real problem, people naturally gravitate towards you. So a mentor that we met was literally through, like, I reached out to government and just said, hey, I've got this idea, and they passed me on to this person, then this person, then this person, finally got to this mentor, and he still mentors us today. And like, best connection we ever had, and it never would have happened unless I'd reached out to a local you take every opportunity you can to meet people, because you have no idea. Like, the other mentor we had went to him for something completely different, for like
grant money.
went to their like institution for grant money. He's just like, oh, I used to work at the NDIA in the home and living sector. And we're like, really?
Yeah.
Cool. Tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He calls me all the time and he's like, oh, like, where are you up to? Like, what are you doing? How's the last month been? Like, I really have you thought about doing this? Like, I talked to the director and I'm like,
hang on a minute.
Okay,
hang on a minute.
Hang on, I need to sit down and write this all down. Like, they've all actually either been a part of like accelerator programs that we've been accepted into, or total accident of just like networking and being relentless and annoying sometimes as well. And calling and emailing, following them on LinkedIn and messaging them. Like,
I think,
find people that you gravitate to and have like really similar values or background in what you're doing.
I think the biggest thing is look outside the sector as well.
Yes.
Like, look outside, because you have no idea. Like, a business is still a business, whether it's a care business or NDIS business, whatever you want to call it. You've still got skills that you need that are transferable across into an NDIS type business. Help around pricing, help around marketing, go to market strategies and all that sort of stuff. Doesn't mean it has to be NDIS specific. So just reach out to people, ask them what they're good at, and if they're interested in what you're doing, they'll help you out.
Yeah. Wow. So you pretty much just nailed my next question, which I was going to be like, is it all NDIS related? But it seems like you guys have really filtered out like your local. Did you start locally and then expand yourself out, or did you just slide into the right inboxes?
I mean, we started locally when we were living in Queensland. That's how we found one of our first mentors and advisor. And then we've done 4 accelerator programs. We're in one at the moment with Remarkable, and they are fantastic. They're disability tech specific. So shout out to Remarkable, Pete Horsley, because they are literally the networking bosses when it comes to the disability space.
Yeah.
I don't know where we would be now without them, but yeah, you do have to kiss a few toads and like get through some conversations where you're like, I don't agree with anything you've just said. Like, that is not how this space works at all.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really refreshing being able to look outside of your own space, because you get different insight and you get different opinions. So I'm part of Tech Ready Women for Queensland, and none of those women work in the disability space. They understand it and they have like people that in their lives that live with a disability, but it is like business women. They have grown and scaled businesses and they have a whole different like insight. And that's really refreshing too, because you don't have to trauma dump on them, because they won't really understand why you're trauma dumping your NDIS trauma onto them. So it's really nice. But yeah, LinkedIn's great too. Like, you can find so many people in your immediate networking space that really align with what you're doing and the values that you have. It can also be really annoying, LinkedIn, like all the messages about building a website.
It's a bit cringy.
Building your AI.
All right. It's a part of it, isn't it? To be a little bit cringy to begin with, and then you work your way up. We all start
Great.
Yeah, LinkedIn, like I've always, it's an odd little one for me, LinkedIn, because I do it. Do I do it well? Not always, because I have to message and I'm a talker. I like to talk. This is why we're on a podcast right now, because I'm nosy as fuck and I like to talk, right? So, so it is using your skill set that you've got and how to, to bring in and draw people in.
Yeah. I mean, look at the connection like that we've made with you. That was all through Instagram. Like,
I Instagram
yeah.
hard. I you pick your platform, do it well to begin with, and then you expand it out. But that's how I found you guys. It was through Instagram and following what you're doing and following your adventure, and I felt like I'm on the journey too. Like, and then I think it's because I feel like I'm on this journey with you guys because I've also got friends that have got steel houses, that are running them and are looking um, to have more residents within the house, to live. So to be able to see that part, so it's like I'm seeing two sides of the story. I get to see what you guys do at the back end, and then I get to see the front end, which is kind of like, like a restaurant really, dishing out like all the, like, what's going on, the quality, where to meet. That's cool. That's a really cool thing to watch, and not everyone gets that opportunity to see it all. So it's kind of fun that we get to chat.
It's a really good point too, because there's no one else building something that's for the provider and the participant. Like, it's all very provider bias, which I think is what the problem with the industry is. There's a sense in the community in the disability space that providers are just they're alone and they're in it for themselves. And it's really sad because the collaboration is definitely not there. And we get it because most of them aren't doing very well financially, but that's why we built the platform too. It's not just, it's not all about the participant matching. It's also about matching with the provider that you get to choose and vet and look at their profile. It's like dating both ways, basically. Because
To see if they align
yeah,
with you, like to see if they are the right person for you. So really, like, I love the notion that the NDIS is for the people that we serve, and that you're building a platform for the person that we serve first. And it's kind of like that. I'm not very good with this type of shit, but it's kind of like that circle when you were a little kid that you were meant to do, speak to your family first and then the externals and all that stuff. It's kind of like that, but in a house form, because you're looking at the person first and the qualities that they bring to a house and what a cool housemate this person will be. It's really flipping the script when it comes to support in home, because a lot of people, they look at it and they look at all the worst things. It's like this person has come into seal.com and they're looking at their 20 years of history that they've had with one provider. You shouldn't bring that with you. We should talk about all the cool stuff that would happen being your housemate and how I could benefit this house environment. That I like.
yeah, exactly. And that's why it's great to have that person first approach.
It's also like just that it's that empowering, it's empowering the end user, like the customer. So in any other market, right? The customer's the one that's making the decision.
Yeah.
The customer's the one that goes, I'm giving my money to you because you're the person that I think will best serve me. And in the disability space, there's almost this disconnect between that. It's kind of like, oh, well, you're here, I guess you'll be okay. Or they don't even get to make that decision in the first place. It's like, okay, yeah, someone will do that for me. I just go with the flow. I don't actually have a lot of power over who I'm going to live with. I just hope I get lucky. Let's just play roulette with it.
So back in the day, like back in my day, 17 years ago, when it came to people living together in a group environment, there was no choice. There was no control. This is a vacancy. Here you go. You've got a disability. Bang, you're together. That's it. That's it. There was no choice. There was no location to where you live, because even where you live, is it accessible to go to your family? Is it accessible to public transport? Can I get to the local grocery? I grew up in this area for 20 years. I want to remain in the area. Like, there was none of that when they were creating it. To see the shift now with the NDIS and having that type of stuff created to live an ordinary life, you're right. This probably is a platform that should have been invented 10 years ago, maybe even more. So with your vision for Marco Polo, so you've got a lot happening, let's be honest. There's a lot of changes and things with providers and stuff. What is your big vision for Marco Polo for the next 5 years?
So we think about this a bit, actually, and it's kind of like 5 years is a long time. And I'm like, I feel like a week, we pump a lot into a week. So 5 years is kind of hard to imagine. Look, our ultimate goal is, or for me anyway, it's not even really about Marco Polo itself. It's more about the way that home and living, or the way that disability accommodation, not just the NDIS, the way it's treated in general. So I would love for, say, a realestate.com or anything like that to just kind of integrate disability accommodation into what's normal,
Mainstream.
into mainstream. I really want when people go, I'm going to do disability support, who can I get to match with first, rather than going, I should go buy or rent a house.
Yeah.
I want, the whole way that people actually approach this sector to change. And change management is really hard. So it'll probably take about 5 years.
Yeah.
But I hope that one day people go, yeah, I want to be a provider. Who can I get this person to match with first before we even think about a house?
Yeah. This one's for you guys. When you created this, did you have people say, oh, you're quite rebellious in the way that you're thinking? Or that's quite an out there thing? Did you?
We got it.
Absolutely.
I think, people, it's actually really interesting because I think we were saying before, like, we love feedback, but we get, this sounds really like egotistic, but we get too much, oh my God, this is like the best idea, where have you guys been? We really want like more like negative feedback, basically, like, how can we improve, how can we make it better?
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, like, oh, we've needed this for so long. Oh, like, oh, this is amazing. What a great idea.
It's never like, oh, you guys are so rebellious. It's just like, holy shit, where the fuck have you been my whole life? Like, why didn't you this 10 years ago when we started on the, it's like the validation is just through the roof. Like, the community has wanted this for so long. I mean, our branding is rebellious. It is outlawish because we're the only people doing it, and we shouldn't be the only people doing it, but we are. And someone had to.
Yep.
It is rebellious what we're doing because we're flipping the entire model of housing in the NDIS space on its head. Like, it's total opposite. 180, let's start again and let's do it the way it was always supposed to be built. I think I think providers give us probably the most direct feedback. Like, some of the wackiest feedback we've ever had is from providers, and I think they're the ones probably not doing it for the right reasons, and you can tell that pretty early on.
Yeah, I had one guy in particular just sits in my brain. Like, oh, because we're talking to providers, like, we want to even the playing field for providers. It's not, we're not preferencing big ones over small ones or whatever. It's just like, you all pay the way it currently works is a flat fee. We want to reward the good providers, whether you're big, small, registered, unregistered. This was obviously before mandatory registration around this stuff. And I had this whole big spiel about, equality and leveling the playing field. And this guy goes, can I pay you more to be listed at the top? And I'm like, you're not listening to anything I've said at all. And it's like, mate, why?
I mean, people that want to exploit the system will always try to find ways to exploit the system. There's always that person.
Yeah, they go to great lengths to do it. The thing Karma knows where you live and it has no end date. So that's how I look at it. So you're better off doing things right to begin with, so you don't have to fix it later. If you do it properly and right from the beginning, there's no way of having to go back and, fix it, really. Do you feel like at times that as you're going through this process of Marco Polo, you're doing some, it's like community education of how a seal house can run to somebody's choice and control, their choice, and I really shouldn't use the word choice and control, but how they could live an ordinary life within the NDIS without making it too medical?
Yeah, it's funny. Like, there's definitely a few camps of things that you need to educate on. And for us in general is like, we want to be a bridge. So we know that there seems to be this like heavy participant centric type like camp where it's like, we want everything exactly the way that we want it. And to a degree, yeah, absolutely. And then there's providers who are like adversarial and go, yeah, no, we have to do it this way and blah, blah, blah. We want to be able to create a bridge. And this is why I guess we're so fluid around the way things are being built, because we're trying to bring two opposites that really shouldn't be opposite. You should be working for the same goal, but aligning them on the same goal. And education is a huge part of that. And it's something that we really want to work on, to develop a bit more education around the space, to be like, this is what these people want. You need to understand the provider perspective. and then going to providers and going, this is the participant perspective, this is what they want, but this is what you can actually do.
I think too in this space, providers are being educated by failing, and when they fail, they obviously fail quite hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if you get it wrong and you have, you know, a still vacancy is costing providers hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and the average vacancy is a whole year.
Yep.
So we're educating people just by existing. We're educating the space by existing because nothing else exists. It's like, oh wow, that's new and different, and that makes so much sense. Providers are getting it as well. You've always got the ones that really just shouldn't be in the space, but the providers that are on the platform are on it because they're like, this makes so much sense, and this always should have existed as well. So participants and providers get it, like, from that, you know, that view of it needs to be about the person. It's their NDIS plan, it's their funding, it's their support needs. And at the end of the day, if you get a great match and you're a good provider, it's win-win. But we need to do way more marketing around what we're doing because we haven't really been doing much at all. It's been very much word of mouth, which has been great, but we need to be getting out there to educate providers and participants that there is another way and there is a much better way. And the longevity of this is it's just long term. Like, everyone can have so much better outcomes by using the platform because all the power is just going back to the person that was always supposed to have it.
Yeah, I think people get stuck in this quick fix mentality as well.
Yeah.
And like, to be honest, like, we've had people sign up and they're like, they want this quick fix, and it's just it's not what this is about.
Yeah.
We're about longevity. So we're about making sure, like, you know, it may not be instant that you get referrals or whatever, like whatever your expectation is, but we are working on a long-lasting relationship between participants and a long-lasting relationship between the participant that's looking and the provider.
Yeah.
Where there's too many times we've had it happen in our own cell where we're like, oh, we need placement yesterday.
Mhm.
And we're like, this is not going to work because they don't match. Like, you'll be doing the exact same thing in a month's time.
Yep.
Like, we're working in this form of urgency that just doesn't
Shouldn't exist.
it shouldn't exist. Things happen. We get it. People pass, people move, all that sort of stuff, and providers have no choice but to fill vacancies because it is very detrimental to them. But if we can do things in a more sustainable way, things are going to work out better for everyone.
That's funny because I in this sector, I get a lot of from the support workers to people that start off as support workers, then they become the independents, and from the independents, they own companies. And the one thing I tell them not to do is become a sole provider straight away. Just wait. Just get support done really well to begin with, get your foundations, you know, what aligns with you, and then build up to it because SEALs, they don't make big money. Like, if you're in this for money, you're in the wrong location. Somebody has lied to you.
Yeah, I mean, they reckon the NDIS allows for a 2% profit margin for SEAL providers. Most of them are breaking even or going backwards. So 68% of SEAL providers are losing money or just breaking even. I've actually met independent support workers that earn more than Aaron and I together in a year.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't do anything. Like, keep doing what you're doing. You don't have to be registered. Like, you don't have to pay for audits. Like, this is fantastic. It's not safe, but it's
They're
like,
not
this
even
is
selling
great feature.
drugs. Like, it's insane. Like, yes, you're right. Because some of them are making bank, and that's because they're really good at being person first, and they can work it. They do a really good job of it. Why make it harder? God, no.
Running a business is the hardest thing you can possibly do. And if you've got a sweet spot being independent, stay there.
People,
Stay there.
I did a presentation a little while back around vanity metrics.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, oh, still is the way to be because the revenue is so high. It's like, yeah, revenue is very high, but guess what? Your margins are very, very low.
Yeah.
Like, I've not met a SIL provider that doesn't have cash flow because you may be pulling in a couple of million per year, but you are spending a couple of million on staff and compliance and all of this stuff. Like,
super long service, like portable long service leave, like work cover, insurance, even insurance for NDIS providers, I think went up like stupid amount a year.
It's scary. Yeah, so a lot of the conversations I have is just hold your horses, just do support right first. And SEAL is not for the weak or the heart, you know. the faint-hearted, it has to be done properly from the get-go because that is the foundation, the get-go of making a really good quality home for someone to live in. Yeah, it's an argument that I've had a couple of times. I'm so glad that you guys agree.
Yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted, and
You need a really good team
yeah,
too.
and I hope that it hasn't come across that we're like, oh, steel providers are doing the wrong thing or anything like that. They have it tough.
They have
They
really
really,
tough.
it is really, really tough.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them for having to fill vacancies quickly. We've seen the realities of it. It sucks. It really, really does. But if we can make a way that works better for everyone, why wouldn't we do it?
100%. And right from the get-go for everybody. And it's when it comes to, like, I think you mentioned before about how some people assume that if you put a post up onto Marco Polo. I'm not quite sure if you call them a post or a profile. Wherever you put one up, it's not a straight away thing because, love takes time and you do go to kiss a couple of frogs and nothing comes easy. It is also because the profile that you've got, they might not actually match until you meet them in person and you can hear somebody's voice and their mannerisms and understand that person as is. This really, you're just like a connector that connects people. The next steps are on you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's a process. You're meeting a whole new person that you might be moving in with. And I guess the good thing is the risks for participants, like financially, is it's free. So coordinators and participants can use it as long as they like for free. There's no sign up expense to them. So yeah, as long as you're active enough and your profile is completed, yeah, you're more likely to get some people reaching out.
I think I want to touch a little bit more
Yeah, go
back a
for
bit
it.
as well, because you said like it's one of the core ethoses we have is that you go, you fill in your profile and it's on you. It's the absolute truth, and that's what we've built this platform on. It's like it's on you to make these decisions. It's you to put in the effort because we believe in the whole concept of teach a man to fish. Was it give a man a fish, you'll eat for a day, or teaching to fish, you'll eat for a lifetime. It's like
Yeah.
we're not here to do these things for you. We're here to enable you, to give you the tools to do it for yourself.
Yeah, and if you need support, that's exactly what the coordinator profiles are for. And you can always have a family member or a friend or the guardian to do the profile for you and manage that. Like that is fully built into the platform in itself.
With that platform, it is like that marketing, but marketing in a way that's quite respectful towards people, not marketing out on the wide web and just, you throw a stone in the pond and assuming that it will hit. But that's the thing, like, this is why I do like that because it's done in such a respectful way in an audience but you're putting your information out to are in the sector to begin with.
Yeah, correct. And even like if a participant, because you don't have to go all the way to finding a provider, if you're a participant on the platform and you find a housemate, you could just be like, cool, I'm done. Marco
Yep,
Polo has
that's it.
been successful. Found my crew.
Yeah, it's something that we kind of need to get better at tracking, to be honest. We think it's happened a couple of times.
We're just like, to that group. Yeah, and even if it's a participant or participant group that wants to find a provider, it's still like, like having a date with a provider because the provider doesn't get any of your information until you actually consent to them.
Yep.
Like you have to pick them and they're picking you too or picking your group of people as well. But you get final say for everything. Like it is completely participant driven. It's completely person centered, not just a value on the wall.
Not just a word thrown around. So because you guys have been in this space for some time, is there any advice you would give to other founders that are in this space looking to do something similar or, just enter the space in general?
Yeah, look, again, it's not for the faint-hearted. Not for the faint-hearted.
Don't listen to what you hear in the media. It's always bad. It's not always bad.
There are some exceptionally caring people in this space. We just find that lots of the people that are exceptionally care aren't always fantastic at business. And just because they've done maybe the wrong thing doesn't mean it was intentional. I think connecting with people and then finding real people that actually want to collaborate, don't just use it as another buzzword.
Yeah.
Because there are definitely people out there, there are definitely pockets and networks of people that really want others to succeed.
Yeah. And do really cool things in this space and really good things.
Just, like innovate. Innovate's probably the best thing.
Do something different.
Why not? Fuck it. Well, what do you got to lose, really? Like, there's nothing to lose.
You just your mortgage and your entire life savings, but
and just your mental health and well-being. Oh, Aaron, I didn't put this one in here, but I want to touch on this one with you. All right. In some of our conversations back and forth, you talk about diagnosis. I will admit that I am dyslexic as fuck, and I will put my hand up. And what if you want to call me neurospicy or whatever it may be, I'm that person. Do you think that some of your elements of getting to Marco Polo is because the way that you interpret the world and how you see it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
To answer this for Aaron, I actually think the neurodiverse are the reason the world spins. Nothing would exist without people that had neurospicy.
If everyone was neurotypical, nothing
would get done.
Nothing new would ever start because everyone's like, I'm happy with the way things are. You know, you
It would be
need
boring, wouldn't it?
different things.
Life would be
It
boring
would.
without us.
I mean, look at the biggest world. Like Elon Musk lives with autism, Bill Gates lives with autism. Like
Yeah.
nothing happens without someone that has some level of,
It's something like 78% of entrepreneurs have some form of neurodiverseness to them. It's an amazing gift, as well as much of it can be pretty painful to deal with. But being able to see the world through a different lens and make connections where people miss them is just one of the superpowers of being neurodiverse. I think being dyslexic, like yourself, like, correct me if I'm wrong,
Go for it.
you would see patterns in things that people don't see patterns in at all.
Yeah, and it's insane when I repeat it back, and I was like, "Oh, I thought everybody saw that." Like, where did you to make it work? What do you mean? Like, there's nothing special. That was yesterday. Like, you don't really put too much emphasis on it because that's just your normal day. Well, for other people, that's not their normal day. Like, they don't get it.
Exactly. And like we say, like, this is the thing that should have existed 10 years ago. Yeah, maybe to neurodiverse people, but obviously.
So we briefly touched on before about being neurodivergent and how it had shaped our businesses. And you were talking about that there's all these entrepreneurs right now that, are spoofing neurodivergency. If you've got anything out there or any pearls of wisdom for any neuros out there looking at this right now and taking some advice off you.
Yeah, look, I'd say, like, it sounds like a cop out, but be kind to yourself. Acknowledge that there's something there, right? You aren't the same as everyone else. You have incredibly high expectations of yourself, but just let yourself be human. However you turn up is however you turn up. Be kind to yourself. Don't try and be perfect.
Just turn up.
Just turn up.
Yeah.
All you need to do.
Just do your best, whatever that looks like.
Looking back at everything that you know now, what's one thing you wish you knew before starting Marco Polo?
Oh,
Some kind of tech experience would have been amazing.
yeah. If we could code, like we would have saved ourselves so much money.
Yeah. No, in all seriousness, I think the biggest learning we've had is it's collaboration, right? And people are scared to collaborate and tell people about their idea because they're concerned that it'll be ripped off and someone will execute on it. Honestly, ideas are, they're not one in a million. They're everywhere, right? It's all about execution and actually going about it. And everyone seems to overestimate everybody else and their ability to want to take your idea and go ahead with it. Like, not everyone's working on what you want to work on, even if you tell them exactly how to do it. People are busy. They're not going to do it unless they're really passionate. So find people that want to help you realize your vision, tell them all about it, and the right people will be attracted to you. You don't have to worry.
Do you know, the funny thing is I always say that no one can actually think like you and the process that it takes to create something and how it looks like. So they could attempt it, but they're not you, and they will never get it to the levels that you can see it as.
Yeah. We've had people, we've actually had 2 different people come up to us in person and say, I actually thought about this idea like 3 years ago or 5 years ago. And I always say to them, like, why didn't you do it? Like, why didn't you start? Like, why didn't you try? Anything is better than nothing at this point.
Is there anything that I have missed today that we need to talk about? Marco Polo, any top secrets that you'd like to tell me and everybody else?
No, I think that's probably like it's
Doing things like this is really good for us because, again, we haven't started formally marketing yet. So meeting people like you, Sarah, and like getting into the community, and you're in Melbourne, so like, even better. One of my biggest cohorts on Marco Polo, we've never been there.
No idea why Melbourne's so big. I
Yeah,
have no idea.
very innovative in Victoria. But yeah, doing things like this, like, yeah, it just gets us out there. It's getting people, to acknowledge that we exist and on the platform and using it and giving us feedback and helping us grow and scale. And yeah, this is exactly where we're meant to be.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to find you, is it through your website? Is it LinkedIn? Is there social media? What's the best way to get to you guys?
Probably like for me, please, dear God, don't call me.
Let's have this discussion. I want to talk to you, Aaron.
I don't like you have to pre-plan a call with me. Please don't call me out of the blue.
Yep.
Like LinkedIn is probably the best for me, honestly. Like sign up through the website. If you sign up, you're gonna get an email from Amy anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
LinkedIn, website,
yeah,
socials, it's all there. We check them all. Like, yeah.
It's just don't call. And if you're gonna call Amy, like not me.
It's all the number listed.
I must have taken you for a shock when we were talking about this podcast. I'm like, oh, here's the number. Just give me a call.
I'm not calling. I'll message her on Instagram.
Well, thank you so much for joining me for this podcast. I can't wait for people to see it and see what mischief you guys are up to and what's going to be next. And I am a fangirl, so I'll be watching, right?
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you for doing this at this time of the day too.
All right, too easy. Thanks so much, guys. Until next time.